There's a lot of paperwork to do with it. It's like, as Sir was saying, he stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing work, and it's like marking people's work.
School teachers get a low salary, and especially primary school teachers.
I don't like kids sometimes. So.
You don't like kids?
So no, I can't be teaching.
Okay.
I want money as well.
And I think it's not worth it for that salary. So if you're going to spend all this time in school, then you might as well have a job that's worth it.
So I think they're very important. I wouldn't think of being them, unfortunately, but I think they're very important.
My name is Keith Pereira. I'm married with 2 children. I grew up in North London, in Tottenham, in the 1980s, inner city London. I lived there during the riots in 1985. I grew up on a council estate. The world that I live in now is very different to the one that I grew up in.
My name is Nabila Khan, Mrs. Khan, the children know me as, and I am a primary school teacher. I teach in Harlow, which is in Essex. I'm married, and I have 4 cats that I talk a lot about.
Hi, morning guys.
Okay, you are taking far too long on your table now.
School dinners, please.
Good morning, Bailey.
No.
School dinners.
School dinners, please.
I chose primary over secondary because I remembered my days back at secondary school, and I remember the behaviour back at secondary school was a lot more challenging than behaviour of primary school children. I think primary teachers are kind of forgotten about because it was so early on. I don't think they think, we do very much. I think people often think primary schools teachers just sit at school with children colouring and draw and just make sure they're well behaved and play with them with sand, but that's not what we do.
3, 2, 1, 0, stop, ok. Bonjour la classe.
Bonjour, monsieur Sora.
Ça va?
Oui, ça va bien, merci.
Très bien. Alors, parfait. Dans le futur, ok? Pendant le week-end.
My name is Reggie Stober. I'm 39 years old. I teach French at a school in North London.
Quel film? Tu veux regarder tu veux voir quel film exactement? Nous avons ou nous allons?
This is my 8th year in the profession.
La semaine dernière,
J'allais?
Ah non, wait.
Youssouf, où est-ce que tu habites? Tu habites où?
J'habite Tottenham.
He's got oui, they do that a lot, French people, don't they? So.
I'm a career changer. I was doing something a bit different before. It's the best decision I've ever made. I like to travel. Don't get a chance to do much travel at the moment because I've got twin boys who are turning 5 in October, and married and love my job.
I wouldn't want to soft soap anybody. Work-life balance in the early stage of your career is hard because there's so much that you have to learn in order to just deliver. It's very hard. So it's really important that you erect very clear boundaries from the off about what you are not going to do. It's a profession where you could work forever and ever and ever and ever. Do you know what things I do, Zach? What sort of things do I do when I go to work?
Well, you're AST, aren't you? And on Fridays you're a lecturer.
Do you think it's hard work, or do you think it's...
I think it's probably hard work at school. And sometimes it might be hard at home as well when you come back from a busy day at work.
Multiplying by 10, multiply by 100, and multiplying by 1000. I make the intention every year that I will finish my work at school, get home for about 6 o'clock, have my dinner, and then just relax. But it never happens. Table 1. Can I have pentagon sitting on table 1? My husband keeps telling me that in Pakistan teachers don't work this hard.
Yeah, I think it's very important for anybody looking to come into teaching to understand that it's a very demanding role. You need a lot of energy because you're dealing with people who have a lot of energy. You can spend as long as you want planning and doing work at home to make your classes better. So definitely you need to be quite strict about what you want.
I lived in a very working class neighbourhood and I went to a very working class school. I understand the context of that on one's life chances.
Today.
I feel that quite powerfully because I'm in a very different kind of school environment. I live in a very different kind of neighbourhood, but I'll never forget that.
Alexis.
I think there are huge intersections between class and race ethnicity, but I think class is the single most defining factor in one's life chances. I really do.
Right, now, Josh, you're going to have to stop your calipo really quickly.
Okay.
Right? You just have to eat it and get rid of it.
Really?
Yeah, because it is our lesson. Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2.
I'll leave it there.
It is a stressful day, so I thought I'd start with a bit of stress relief.
I don't know the statistics, but Bangladeshi boys don't do too well. But white working class boys don't do too well. Indian boys do better. Chinese boys do very well, irrespective of their class. So it can't simply be ethnicity.
But actually, how this is assessed. You can't play a game without knowing the rules.
If the teacher comes from a similar background, has roots in that background, at least they can explain to that child there is a world that exists outside of what often is quite narrow boundaries.
Josh, bin.
Teaching in a school where there's many black students, but I think that I would also enjoy teaching in a school where there are lots of white students or Asian students. And I don't think just because you're a black teacher you can only be effective in a black setting. I wouldn't want any other black teacher or black male teacher to feel that your only role when you come into education is to be a role model for black boys. Primarily I'm a teacher and I come here to teach. You have this feeling that as a whole, yes, all black children are underachieving in school. That's not true. Black people in the UK are not one homogeneous grouping, that there are lots of different facets as there are in any other group of people. Race is definitely important. However, I don't think that that's the only issue. And I do think that sometimes that can mask a lot of other important problems, specifically issues of social deprivation.
When I started at this school, there was no Asian teacher here. And I am Asian now, wear the headscarf as well. And initially I thought, I don't know how the children are going to react to me. I think it took a few weeks or even months before one child said to me, "Oh, miss, why do you wear that scarf? Why do you wear that on your head?" I mean, they didn't see me as different to any of the other teachers then. They don't see me different now.
They did paper A on Monday and that was really good, but they did paper B today.
A lot of people from ethnic minorities tend to go into medicine or pharmacy. I think they used to think teaching was a very easy job, and that if you were not good at university or school, you go into teaching.
How this course works, right?
My parents are from Sri Lanka, so I don't fit into an accepted community, and never have. It's a double-edged sword. It's liberating in terms of having a sense of freedom. But I think as a child I didn't really perceive that. I didn't understand that sense of freedom. I can see it now because I can feel that cultural baggage can actually be stultifying for some people, particularly as you get older. I haven't got that. In lots of ways, although I talked about class being the most important factor, but actually I am defined by my ethnicity an awful lot. It's not whether I think it, it's actually I'm reminded.
Spent most of the year doing research and planning.
It's just so that
You know, most people like to be around people who look like them or who understand them. And I don't think you necessarily get that in the teaching profession outside of metropolitan areas. So there aren't many people who look like me or who have my experiences. So you kind of have to have worked that through.
Intellectually, I can see my identity as just plural. I'm lots of things in different places at different times. I think it's important that the young people's experience in school, in some shape or form, reflects the plural nature of British society. They inhabit a quite ethnically diverse culture. Through music and television and film and popular culture generally, it's plural, and that has to be reflected in their educational experience. And you know, a school like this one, where most children go to university and will leave this town, they are going to go to Sheffield, they're going to go to Manchester, they're going to go to London. They just need to know that this is not Britain.
And then there was two.
You want to stay in the classroom? Yeah. So can you put the chair down? Can you stop talking to yourself? Can you look at me? And can you start being sensible? Off the table, Luke.
They're mostly from working class backgrounds. It's quite a deprived area. You know, behaviour can be difficult. You know, depends it depends what's going on at home. You know, if home life is difficult for them, then of course it comes into school. Yeah, there's only so much that you can do as a teacher. You know, they come to school, you try your best to give them, teach them what they need to know, get them to make the progress that they should make, but then at the end of the day they go home.
As long as the kids understand that you want the best for them, they will allow you to guide them, and sometimes that means also disciplining them. It's very much a two-way street. They like to feel, young people like to feel respected. They like to feel like they're being cared for at the end of the day. And once you create that bond, they're more than willing to learn from you.
Explain what we're doing. Yeah. That would be useful.
We feel.
Richard, come in. Let's start.
If you walk around a school and you don't know the pupils or the staff, it seems a really hostile environment and quite a threatening environment. And the notion that these children would do what you asked them to, I didn't think I had the force of personality to do that. But it didn't put me off. One of the odd things about coming to Sussex was that actually the schools that I went to were nothing like the school I went to. It was like another world. And so, once I got into these schools, I found them quite nice places. And they felt really quite comforting, and the teachers really did care about the children, and the children weren't that badly behaved, really. And actually, that was all right.
Mark, you have to be what, Alex? Big. You have to be big. Who are you, Robin?
Would you be interested in teaching?
I don't have the patience.
You don't have the patience, okay. Do you think it's all about patience? Is it just about patience? Is the salary low? How do you know the salary is low? This is my 8th year of teaching now. Obviously I trained here as well, but this is my 8th year of teaching. I'm earning practically double what I ever earned in another position. If they were trying to get people like you to consider working in education, they would have to do a lot more to make it clear that you can actually earn a good living?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just kind of leaving. We made these ones.
That's very sweet. Nuts about work, teacher. Life is about dreams, a teacher. Oh, thank you very much, Nathan. Very cute. Very sweet. It's actually a very rewarding job. Last year I was a year 6 teacher, and after year 6 they go on to secondary school. And when they come back and see you in their secondary school uniform, you know, you think, wow, I taught you. And they come back and they give you cuddles, and if they see you on the streets, you know, oh, Mrs. Khan, Mrs. Khan. Even when they're taller than you, they'll still run up to you cuddling you because you're Mrs. Khan.
Who doesn't usually say something? Who do we have to struggle to get? Lève-toi. Touche la tête. The best thing for me is the fact that it's a job in which you're always learning. I've been teaching for 8 years and I still don't think that I've taught the perfect class. You're always looking to improve. A whole range of things trouble them or affect their lives. The kind of things that affected us, I suppose. Sometimes feeling awkward, friendships, developing as young men and women, changes to your body, changes to your mind. It's a really frightening time for a lot of people. Just come and fix it. But it's equally rewarding to see someone develop emotionally, to see someone become more confident, to see someone, you know, conquer their own personal demons in whatever shape or form that, you know, they present themselves in.
The best part of my working day is when I have taught a lesson and every child in the class has understood what they need to do and has left the lesson actually thinking that they have learnt something, and that's itself very pleasing when they come to you and say, oh, I actually found that really hard, miss, but you know, I can do it now.
Freezing.
Boy. Needs to be straight. Make sure it's straight.
No, wait.
That bit of the day, from when the first lesson starts to the end of the day, is absolutely, it's really good for me. You know, so much so that I spend most of my breaks and lunches just here with the kids, and I've never really tired of that bit of the job.
It was. You did really well.
Well, for me, firstly, it's a profession, and it doesn't really bother me whether society deems it an important profession, but it is a profession, and I think it's something that stretches me in all kinds of ways.
Right, that's us done, folks. Well done. Have a nice Easter, all of you.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good Easter.
Okay. I'll see you on telly at some point.
You know, I earn more money now than I ever thought people earned. I don't think I could have done it in any other profession. It does tick the boxes for me. If I was a 22-year-old looking at what I wanted out of life, teaching has kind of given me most of that. And I live by the sea.